Hi friends and fellow Earth Angels, it's Gladys, and welcome back to another one of my weekly Sunday card readings. And this spread will start by covering September 27th through October 3rd, or whenever you're guided to watch, as I always intend these to be timeless readings. So this week I was drawn to the maternal or mother energy. Healing mother wounds, activating maternal, nurturing, supportive energy within. You know, we're living in a world that rewards action, right? When you perform a task, often we're rewarded for that, whether it's good grades, whether it's a raise, whether it's a paycheck, whether it's praise. And so we can put a lot of value on what we're doing. Now, what I'm seeing in the collective is a large number of people who are burnt out, frustrated, confused, energetically drained. This is masculine and feminine energies. It's not gender specific. And then also, too, I'm seeing a lot of earth angels who are caring for people who are confused, angry, scared, which in turn is creating burnout, frustration within them. So depending on where you're at, if you're going through the changes or you're part of supporting people going through these changes, I just feel like an energetic depletion. And so how can you be mindful this week of how much action you're taking, right? And I have to say, if you're feminine dominant, right, the world speaks to you, right? The dishes speak to you, the laundry speaks to you, the tasks speak to you, the car speaks to you, right? All the have-tos and shoulds. Now, that will always exist. And a lot of people right now in the collective are learning how to pull back and find balance with action and responsibility and self-care, self-love, valuing, as I've mentioned in quite a few videos this year, pause, stillness, nothingness. And so in that space, we can tap into this gentle, compassionate, supportive, loving, patient vibration that's within all of us. So I feel like this week I chose a collective of cards to support you. The messages are intended to soothe you this week, empower you. I just pray that they feel like a hug that comes over you to encourage you, but also to remind you this week to love yourself enough to put yourself first. And that's something that, or needing to take care of everybody else and putting out everybody else's needs above your own is a very deep-rooted program. And it can create that martyr energy. It can bring up a lot of anger, resentment, and bitterness. And so earth angels are being asked to be the example, right? I always think of Maya Angelou, and her ability to really savor and treasure the moment, to find the wisdom and the joy despite her very difficult upbringing. So she was able to take her pain and turn it into her power. And she, for me, is an embodiment of the maternal energy, assertive, sets boundaries, wise, empowered, compassionate, loving, healing. And so I feel like you're being asked to tap into that part of you, to ignite that maternal energy within you. And then also, too, some of you who are watching may need to do some healing work on the mother wounds. You know, maybe you're a mother yourself, and because of the times when you had children, things might have been difficult. Maybe you know a lot more now than you did then, and there's some healing that needs to be done in that. Forgiveness, love, compassion. Maybe there is the mother wound of healing with your own mother and seeing the separation between your own mother's journey and her choices, and separating from that responsibility of maybe what you did or didn't do for your mother. Maybe there's some resentment there. You know, a lot of earth angels, our parents didn't know how to meet our emotional needs, our sensitivities. And that's okay. It doesn't mean they're bad parents, and that doesn't mean that we don't love them, but we can also acknowledge that maybe our emotional needs weren't met. And so we're learning how to meet our own emotional needs and set our own emotional boundaries. And I feel like that's tapping into our own mother, maternal, compassionate wisdom, and being able to ask your body, ask the wisdom of the divine, what is it that I need right now? And this is when we can tap into the present moment, right? Inner peace is in the present moment. I see this quote often, that when we're living in the past, shoulda, coulda, wouldas, it creates long-term living in the past, it creates depression. When we're so focused on the future, how, when, what if, it creates anxiety and anxiousness. But when you're living in the present, here and now, reminding yourself that all your needs are met in this moment, it creates inner peace. And the divine, right, Mother Nature's signs are all in the present moment. So this is why we keep talking about valuing presence, pause, and stillness, because that is where you're going to tap into deeper layers of wisdom. Now, if you're challenged with being alone, or if you have a hard time sitting still, that's the parts that you want to push past, right? And talk to yourself in a loving way. The critic, right? The inner critic that activates within, that's harsh. I got to force myself. I need to get this done. It's very common. It's very common because a lot of us grew up in this society. It's very common to have this inner critic that we're not even aware of. And so that's where I chose these cards this week to offer some maternal, loving words of wisdom for you this week. So I have Mary, Queen of the Angels Oracle. I'm going to get additional messages from the Wild Offering Oracle, messages from the Flower Therapy deck, the Soulful Woman, and finishing up with Whispers of Love. So as you're watching, pay attention to what cards pull you, open your heart, speak to you. Not all the cards may resonate with you. You might have just one that is exactly what you needed to hear. So trust your intuition. Let me open up space by inviting in all your guardian angels and guides, the archangels, the ascended masters, the divine mother and father, and all their holy beings of light who would like to assist with this guidance for you today. Specifically, I want to tap into the maternal energy, whatever that means to you. Maybe you have a mother that's on the other side, or that you're doing some healing work on. Maybe you resonate highly with the divine mother, or you connect with Mother Earth. Whatever vibration connects with you most. And if I haven't said this already, I'm going to ask that the messages that come through be for your best and highest good and the best and highest good of all concerned. All right, friends, let's begin. Mother Mary, what message do you have for the collective this week? It's the most important thing they need to hear, see, feel, and know. prayer. Oh, I feel the love already. It says, instead of worrying, I pray about the situation to bring about real solutions. So there are a lot of people, or there's an energy on this planet of feeling powerless. Here in the United States, there's an election coming up. And a lot of people are feeling empowered and scared and confused and powerless all at the same time. Fear of future, right? A lot of people don't know what's happening with their jobs. We're still in the midst of this pandemic. And we're going into another season of change. Let's see here. We're going into another season of change, meaning the restaurants that have been operating outside will now have to move inside, and there's all this fear and stuff that's coming up. So understand, as a sensitive person, as an empathic person, you're also feeling the energy of the planet. And so Mother Mary is reminding you that you are not alone. Maybe you're missing your own mother. Maybe you've been so much in work. I know teachers and nurses and social workers. God bless your souls. You've been under a lot of pressure, a lot of change. And your amazing earth angels that continue to show up for the love and the passion of your job, even though I know you wonder why you keep showing up for it, because it's challenging. But thank you. And so Mother Mary is coming in this week to remind you that you're not alone. So when you start feeling overwhelmed, scared, confused, frustrated, how can you interrupt? How can you feel that? How can you feel it in your body? Recognize it as an imbalance, and in that moment, pause. Now, I naturally do this. I'm doing it right now. I put my hand over my chest, my heart, and I put another hand over my stomach. So it's over my lungs and my abdomen, right below my belly button. And so for me, that act of putting my hands in those areas is very grounding for me, and it's very soothing. And especially if you are challenged with anxiety or anxiousness, being able to rub your chest in the area in between your heart, or the middle of your chest, or your heart and your throat, in between that area, that's where your thymus is. And your thymus, on the left and right side, when you tap on that area or you place your hands over that area, it can soothe and lessen the fear and bring you back to the present moment. In that moment, you can ask yourself, what do I need right now? I was having a little bit of a challenge with my dog. He was getting a little unruly and bossy. And we were having a little bit of power struggle. You know, all his training and him being spoiled has really come to head. And so I remember being outside, and he was being so stubborn, God bless his soul. And I looked up in the sky, I said, "Dear Lord, give me patience with this dog." And in that moment, I realized I was doing the same thing with the universe. I wanted things to happen in my way. And I wasn't going to budge and give like an opportunity for another way to come in. The challenge with him is he wanted to go into a direction that had a lot of like acorns and glass, and I didn't want him to go that way because it wasn't safe. And he kept pulling me, and I wouldn't let him go. And so we were at like an impasse. He wanted to go one way, I wanted to go to the other, and I just kind of laughed as soon as I said, "Dear Lord, give me patience with this dog." In that moment, absolutely, I was realizing that was a mirror in what I was experiencing with the universe myself. Like I was saying, I want to go this way. It has to be this way. And the universe is saying, girl, we love you, but it's not safe that way. There is another way that's much better. But I was being stubborn. And I kind of laughed in that moment. I'm like, all right, I get it. And then the next day I Googled some stuff on how to help him, and we're good now. We're back on track. And it's all good. So I thought it was interesting that I was able to take what I thought was an external challenge and see how it mirrored right back. And I was doing the same thing. And so really, I believe it was that prayer in that moment. Dear Lord, give me patience. Help me help this dog. And then boom, the wisdom came in. Now, instead of trying to force the problem myself, I was opening up to assistance, and it shifted immediately. And like I said, things are good. So this week, if you're coming up against a wall, if you're coming against stubbornness, if you're coming against your own difficulties, pause, open up, call on the Divine Mother and ask for her assistance. Okay, so additional message. This is the Wild Offering deck. You can call on Ganesha. He's the remover of obstacles. That can help you as well. Remember, Mars is in Aries, so it's going to bring up a lot of fiery anger, frustration. When you can actually explore the anger and give yourself permission for it to move through your body. Anger has wisdom in it, right? And if you can take that energy and instead of creating burnout, transform it into passion, let it revitalize your body. It can actually energize you when you give it permission to move through your body. I was certainly activated last week with anger. It felt like little volcanic spurts for no reason. It was just happening. And so I just accepted it, had patience with it. I'm like, oh, well, whatever that is, thank you. But this week I've had to really have extra loving patience with myself. Frustrations came up, absolutely. So, and this could be, I tend to go through things before other people, so that could be what's coming this week. So it's a reminder to have patience with yourself. That, you're in a space where your body, your mind, your spirit is healing. And that is uncomfortable. It's tense. It's challenging. And it's okay. All right. What additional message, Mother Mary, do you have for the collective this week? What do you need them to hear, see, feel, and know? Intention. What a beautiful card. I think those are moths. I mean, they look like butterflies or moths. So if you're into animal medicine, you can look up the moth or the butterfly. Looks like a moth to me. Anyway, intention. Intention is simply allowing the will and the mind to align and move in harmony. May I always focus on the highest. My intention is that all God's wishes for me come true. And I feel like this is a message where, maybe you'll feel powerless to situations and experiences. Intention is allowing the will and the mind to align in harmony. So when we look up, when we draw our attention, now we know that the divine is not outside of us. It's an essence that's in the depths of our being, right? It's our core essence. It's our vibe. But when we intend to look up, we're opening up our hearts, our crown chakra, right? We're opening up our crown chakra, our third eye, our throat, and our heart to divine wisdom, divine love, and divine power. So again, when we pray, we're merely opening up to receive another way. But the mind, I'll tell you, friends, is a powerful thing. And it's a liar a lot of times, right? That ego part that wants to keep us in fear, that wants to, what is the word fear? The false expectations appearing real, right? That's when we start to lose our divine connection because we forget to look up or we forget to open and receive. And that's where I feel like the divine feminine energy is. Open, receptive, right? Intuitive, connected. That's a gift that we all have. But feminine dominant people have a more sensitive connection to the divine, to the universe, to creator, whatever word resonates with you. And so just the intention of opening up to receive support, guidance, love, wisdom, whatever that is. So sometimes we can fall into that trap. You know, I've definitely been here of like, you know, I'm alone in the world. What about me? It's not fair. And that is the mind playing out this story that is a lie. You know, not everybody maybe has an abundance of friends, but there is some support. There is always some connection in some way. Now, if you had an abundance of people that were in your life all the time, you would have no need to go higher. And I think this is why a lot of earth angels are feeling separate from the world. Although you're never alone, right? You know, I spoke about this in other videos, how, you know, the ego wants you to see the word one, as alone by yourself. There's something wrong with you. You're not enough. You're not loved, right? Create separation. But the divine wants you to see and experience one as expansive, connected, aligned, right? So when we're telling ourselves we're alone in the world, we're really not. It's a lie. And so many of us are in this space of feeling alone, but it's so that you'll go higher and open up to the wisdom of the heart, because that's where your purpose is. That's where your wisdom is. That's where your guidance is. Again, it's not outside of you. It's the depths within you. And this is why the guides all year have been giving you foundational components to open up to this wisdom. And we're going to need it. You know, the world needs prayer. The world needs intention, right? And it's very easy to get sucked into that fear. So in this tension that we're feeling in the planet, in the spiritual warfare, right? That tension is actually what's making things stronger, even though what we see with our own eyes can be scary. What we see with our third eye or our divine insight can offer a whole new perspective. So, additional messages from flower therapy. What else do you want the collective to know this week, Divine Mother? I think this card comes out a lot. So we have become the true you. Show the world who you really are and what you were really born to do. Everybody has unique gifts. And we can explore those and appreciate them in the stillness. But before we get there, you have to understand, or you have to see, you have to feel the thought patterns, the belief systems, the outdated programs that are instilled in you that you've got to clear out. You know, I have a lot of thoughts that come up. And I say often, that's a lie. That's not truth. That's not who I am. But they come up, right? Playing on my fears, my insecurities, my worries. Now, I don't ignore them. I explore them. I look at them. I'm like, oh, here we are again. And I also, too, have to be reminded to be compassionate with myself. Kindness. When fears, what if, how, when, when those surface, the critic in me can get activated really quick. Because, as a quadruple Cancer, I can go 0 to 60 with my emotions. It's a strength, and it can also be a challenge too. Two sides of the same coin. It can be my power, it can be how I manifest, and it can keep me trapped for months and months and years sometimes. So it's being able to navigate that. And becoming the true you doesn't mean you have to do more. It means you've got to be aware of yourself and appreciate all those parts of you, all those experiences you've had. I think we're in an identity crisis now. A lot of people are having so many different experiences. Your jobs are changing, your family dynamics are changing, your city is changing. There's a lot happening, and it can be an activator for overwhelm and fear and worry. And so you're reminded to get back to the heart of what gifts you have. So what are people telling you over and over and over again, right? What are people telling you are your gifts and what they like about you? Being able to sit in that and allow yourself to receive that is going to activate the true you, right? So many of us are caring and compassionate, but we've allowed and been a contributor to people taking advantage of that, right? We take ownership in it in some way because we were receiving, something from it. But when you pull back from that, when you stop servicing people and giving them your time and your money and your energy and your dedication and all your focus, they're going to go off somewhere else, and it leaves you feeling alone, right? But you're never alone. You're clearing out energies that weren't serving you to begin with, right? Even though what you saw, it looked like it with your eyes, there's a part of you that's saying, this can't be right. This doesn't feel right. You're becoming more clear about who you are through observation, through seeing true colors. Kali, goddess Kali, she comes in and she takes off those rose-colored glasses and she's honest. And sometimes that's hard to see. I know I've said this in other videos, but it's important. In order for things to change, we have to be aware of it. We have to know what's not working. And because of that, it will create tension, discomfort, challenges, right? Because if everything was great, you'd never seek more, you'd never change, you'd never grow. So there's this constant tension, this push and pull with the universe to move us, to keep us. And this is how firm the divine is, because they know we're on a course, right? They know there's fated experiences we need to have. And where you're at right now is temporary. It's a season. And I feel like the Divine Mother is saying, let us love you. Let us sing over you. Sometimes when I go to bed and I need that maternal support, if I had a really hard day and, I worked with a lot of people who are going through a lot of hard things, it can be overwhelming. And so I self-soothe where I'll listen to lullabies. I'll literally turn on babies' lullabies and just fall asleep to that. And it's very soothing. It's my way to comfort myself so that I can continue doing the work that I do to help people. Because people need it. They need support. They need love. They need kindness. They need to know that they're going to be okay and how to move forward one step at a time. And if you're gifted with that, it's going to do the world no good if you're tired, depleted, angry, frustrated, confused, fighting it out with people, right? The world is going through a purification. That was the bottom of the deck here, the white rose. It says, by purifying your life of negative people, places, and experiences, you attain true peace. We talked about that peace being in the present moment. I'm just noticing it's kind of dark in here. I don't know if it's going to rain or it's just getting dark. Sorry about that. I'm hoping you can still see good. So, soulful woman. Let's see here. Soulful woman. I feel like this is the grandmother energy. I want to tap into the grandmother energy crone energy, the wise one energy. I'm going to ask, what wisdom do you have for the collective, those that are watching? Oh, being with discomfort. I just talked about this. At times of discomfort, I courageously seek my soul essence, which is clear, pure, and luminous. Right? It goes perfectly in line with prayer and intention. And through that discomfort, you get to know yourself on a deeper level, what you can overcome, what you can move through. I know everyone who's watching this video, even though you may not feel powerful, you are. Because you're on this healing journey, which is not easy. And you continue to show up to God's people, to experiences, even though, I don't know, there's some battle wounds out there, myself included, right? There's some, I'm tired. I need an extra long break this time. But our passion to serve in whatever way that is for you is the pull that keeps you moving forward. You know, I keep seeing Joan of Arc. Joan of Arc, she changed a very archaic system in a short amount of time as a female, right? Female dominant in a world that was masculine dominant. She came in slinging the sword, right? There's a power in that. And so maybe some of you, maybe you do connect with Joan of Arc, and here she is saying, remember that part of you, right? Maybe some of you can explore Joan of Arc as an ascended master and read about her, and maybe she can be a guide for you. But it's learning to be with the discomfort that's going to help you become stronger, right? It's not necessarily good, bad, right, wrong, positive, or negative. It's part of the tension and the squeeze. You know, what's the sayings? You can't know happiness without experiencing sadness. You can't experience or really understand joy without sorrow, right? You can't really appreciate abundance without having to have gone through the lack. So understand you're going through this ebb and flow. And really through it all, you're learning more and more and more about yourself. And this is a soul journey. You're doing this work for this lifetime and lifetimes forward. So again, at times of discomfort, I courageously seek my soul essence, right? Open up to prayer and intention, which is clear, pure, and luminous, and full of love. Listening to my body. Yes, this is like, again, the owl, the moon, right? Here we are in the divine. This card couldn't be any more divine feminine. It says, my health is my life, the temple of my experience, and the greatest of my blessings. So remember, of course, this is number 11, new beginnings, right? If you're struggling with your health in whatever form, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, we're not able to reach this capacity, right? So we must pull back from all the responsibility and find pockets of time. Find ways to set boundaries. You know, this world is very, very demanding, and it will pull and take from you. And we're in a vibration now where we're learning how to pull out of that and saying, no, I matter too. I'm important. So maybe some of you look at your health and not in a shameful way, not in a frustration way, just to look at it. And from an act of love, open up and saying, God, show me how to take care of myself in a healthier way. This doesn't mean go on some crazy diet. This doesn't mean, eating salads. That's no fun. The divine feminine loves experience and loves to indulge and be in that beauty, in that flow, right? So there's got to be a reason. We got to remember that we're doing it because we're appreciating and loving experience and not doing it, whether it's like exercising or eating really a strict diet to get something, right? Because it doesn't last. I mean, we've been on that cycle over and over and over again. It's like old. Like, when are we going to get off the crazy train and start appreciating and savoring, right? But it's got to come in a joyful way. You know, I don't know how often I've mentioned this, but I struggled with eating disorders most of my life. And that was my way to abuse my body and control. And I remember thinking, oh my God, I'm going to have to struggle with this my whole entire life. This is so awful. Why did I get this lot in life? Well, what I started to do is I started to understand my body and the psychology behind my emotions and my experiences growing up. I started doing inner child work. I started tapping into the shadow, right? The feminine, the wisdom. And I can say it does surface every once in a while, but nothing near like it used to. It feels so good to be able to just go to my wardrobe and pull out clothes and really love, you know, myself on a deep, deep, deep level, regardless of what clothes I'm wearing, how many pounds are on my body. And so we're getting back to the root of self-love at a core level. Remember, anytime we're doing something to get something, we're out of alignment with our natural flow if we're forcing it, right? I'm going to do this meditation because I'm going to get peace. Well, then what's going to happen is your mind's going to activate and you're going to be frustrated because you're going to be thinking about all those have-tos and shoulds and responsibilities, and you're just going to get annoyed. But when you can allow the experience to be what it is, without any expectations, without any judgment, without any blame, and continuing to show up to that in peace and curiosity, you can open up another whole perspective. All right. I hope this is making sense. Beautiful messages this week. Well, every week. I'm really enjoying them. So let's see here. I'm going to put this too far over because of the light. All right. Divine Mother, what message of love do you have for your children? What message of love do your children need? There are just two here. Put this up here. I don't know why I didn't think that earlier. And the first one. Oh, I love you. I love you. I love you. These are very important words. Now, I know these words can trigger people. People have heard these words from manipulation, right? People sometimes will say, I love you to get something from you. Earth angels are smart. We're suspect. We're like, what do you want, right? We can be like, yeah, you're telling me you love me, but it doesn't feel genuine. What do you want? Well, the Divine Mother is saying, I love you with every fiber of my being. And I don't want anything from you but to be part of your joy, your love, your pleasure, your peace. That is a true unconditional love. And I've been saying this in 2016. This is a 9-year cycle of reintegrating and the energy of true love back on the planet. Self-love first. The balance of the masculine and feminine becoming whole and complete within. And then aligning with partnerships, divine partnerships and soul groups that are equal in that unconditional love. And I have to say, in my 13 years of work, I have met the most compassionate, loving, joyful people. I always say the Heavenly Hugs Network is a network of the most beautiful souls on this planet. It really is beautiful. It took me a long time to realize that I am included in that as well. It took me a long time to acknowledge, like, hey, wait a minute, they're reflecting back parts of me too, and this is beautiful. So whatever light you see in me, whatever appreciation or whatever beautiful energy you feel from me, that also is you. It's an embodiment of you. Because if it wasn't a vibrational match, you wouldn't stay, right? And so the Divine Mother is reminding you that she truly, genuinely loves you. It doesn't want anything from you but to see you or be part of your journey of excitement, lighting up the world, playful, fun, dancing, laughing, singing, adventure, right? And do something for someone else. When you're feeling filled up to overflowing, that's when you do something for someone else. Not when you're empty, depleted, tired, and drained and you feel like you should. It says give your attention to someone else. Share. Share your insight, share your knowledge, share your wisdom. This is how we're going to help the planet heal, right? When we do our inner work and we learn, I read this book, or I listened to this song, or had this experience, and then we share it. That's getting back to tribal, right? Sharing information that's going to help people heal. But we can't do it if we're denying our own healing journey, right? We can't do it effectively. Well, you can do it, but you will get burnt out. You'll be on these emotional roller coasters of highs and lows, right? You'll be getting your energy supply from other people, and that can create an attachment. That can create energetic depletion. So when we're doing this energy work and we're doing healing work, we get a high from that, right? Because it's a beautiful energy exchange. But if you haven't learned how to sustain that energy and maintain it outside of working with people, you'll go on this emotional roller coaster of highs and lows. So many of you are with yourselves and the divine for a reason right now. You're learning how to sustain and maintain your own energy with or without clients or doing things for other people, right? You're in a massive manifesting overhaul to manifest in a totally new vibration. And it will require you to know how to manage your own energy, how to call on the divine for assistance, for support, right? Learning how to be in the discomfort and still loving yourself and honoring and respecting all those beautiful parts of you. All right, so I'm going to finish up. I think I've said enough for now. All right, let me close space thanking all your guardian angels and guides, the archangels, the ascended masters, the divine mother and father, and all their holy beings of light who assisted with this guidance for you today. I want to thank the divine mother, Mary, and the essence of the divine mother for her words of wisdom for you. And I'm going to ask that any healing that was started continue for as long as it needs to be done. All right, friends, if you want to work with me, if you want to find out about me, if you need loving support, that's what my forte is. That's what I'm good at. So if you want to learn more about me, all that information is in the description box below. So thank you for showing up week after week. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your comments. Again, if you're inspired or you see messages that I haven't seen, or remember, I'm just kind of channeling this as we go. So there's so much more layers in these readings. Put it in the comments. I appreciate everything you write. And as always, please know I love you. God loves you so much. Trust in the divine. Trust your intuition, and I send you love with heavenly hugs. Bye for now.